Hello and welcome to this slower unpacking of these 5 new packs from March of the Machine. So I've been trying to make these better and better and better and better. So today we will be doing 5 of them, and I have a little bit of a different kind of setup here. And let's zoom in because last time I didn't do that because I was away for a bit. Starting with a Farah who's now been fractionized. A bit of a sad moment there. Bloodfell Caves. Having learned of New Capenna's Halo supply, Alice Norn dispatched Atraxa herself to bring the world to heal. That's true, but that's also because she was the only one to be able to withstand the Halo. So the thing is with the unpacking is I will still be doing it slowly, but we will just be skipping a few more of them, I guess. So we have Saiba Cryptonmancer, a 2-mana 0/1, and then you might think, why is that? Well, they give something hexproof at flash speed, so this is a protector, and then you have a 0/1 left, so it might be good with some backup. But of course the body is not what you're doing it for, it's just an extra on top of everything. We have another one from Kamigawa, so these set boosters sometimes have their own themes. Maybe this is one as well that we're seeing here, but no, we're going to Innistrad, an incubate creature, the first one that we got from here. I think I will only be doing one of these videos actually. Which says, whenever something transforms into a fraction, put a +1 counter on it. So making the incubator tokens that you have, or the fraction tokens that you have, a bit stronger. Then we go to New Capenna again, from the first land that we got, because this, let's say, art piece has been made by the people on New Capenna to sort of celebrate them becoming fractions. So they were very happy, the maestros at least, who make this art. Our first transform creature, the magic mirror of Ventress, showed Katrina a twisted version of black oil and bloody machines. It knew what was coming. The Order of the Mirror. That's actually interesting to me. And then we have Order of the Alabaster Host, so they stay away from the mirror and the knowledge that it gives right now. Soon she understood that it was not the vision that had been twisted, but her own mind. Okay. Her mind has been twisted, but her eye, and therefore maybe her vision, has also been very much twisted. Our first battle card, so we will have to, I guess, flip this over you a little bit. This set is hard to unpack like this, let's say that. The Invasion of Muruganda. So this is, I think, just one of the random dinosaur worlds that we will have to explore ourselves. When it ends the battlefield, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Then it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So yeah, okay, fighty land with big dinosaurs or something else. So the flavor of these battles is that the transformed part is always something that defends the plane. In this case it is the primordial plasm, which is an ooze. Before the tree of life branched into predators and prey, there was only shapeless hunger, and that hunger sort of supposedly is protecting the people here. I had to check whether I was still recording because my screen blacked out. But alright. So hunger is what this world is about. Ooh, and then Galta and Mavern Vane. I actually like this card, and I like the alternate version as well. I think we haven't had these alternate borders from Ixalan yet, so this says a lot, and maybe they will use it in a new set that is coming up. So basically what this does is 12/12 for 7 mana, that in Celestia, which is kind of rare. But then you create a bunch of vampires or a big dino. Basically, that's it. And I was kind of shocked there. For a moment, I thought this was going to be the Ragavan card. No, it's Rayav Master Smith. Also cool. So these are statues, I think, all of them, the alternate versions. I think that's cool too, that they force them to be statues of heroes and how they celebrate each other. This impromptu demonstration of the portable energy shield attachment both saved lives and increased demand for Aether-powered multi-tool gauntlets, which was his first invention, the multi-tool gauntlets were, which made him famous, but now more people wanted them. Oh, that's awesome that this is referenced. And whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, it gains double strike. So strong ability, and basically what keeps this archetype afloat, to be honest. Kamigawa alternates, there are so many alternates in these. We have Horobi, Death's Will. Flying 4/4 for 4 mana, already a good stat line. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. Wow, okay. That's interesting. So you want to use this with a lot of targeted spells, and then everything becomes a murder. Wherever it went, death came to Phyrexians and Kamigawans alike. This spirit is so primordial that it doesn't even care that his land is being invaded. And then another one, Timuret chosen from death. So toughness is, this is the original one still. Timuret's toughness is equal to your devotion to black, and for 2 mana you can exile up to 2 target cards from graveyards. You gain 1 life for each creature card exiled this way. Yeah, so this is the original one. I kind of like that too, that they kept these. And it is foil as well. And then this, which I don't like. Because I have to throw it away. It's such a shame. And we'll be going on like this, which I think is just a cool way to do it. You know? Starting with more art of a sort of Colligan-like dragon. No more infinite, how to say it? Infinite full art basics. It's just a normal one. So that does tank the price of the set actually. It was basically what kept the other one, March of the Machine, afloat and profitable basically. But starting on Ikoria this time. Why won't you die, wretched flesh beast, says Luca. Come on Luca, you know these creatures. You know they evolve. But of course, Luca's story can never be good, can never be true. And another one. See, there's themes in these. That's my girl, just don't eat it. Wouldn't want you cutting an upset stomach again. No, they can be transformed as well. This slasher can as well. Wolverine dinosaur. I love these creatures. The creature types. Another one. See, I say it all the time. But with swamp cycling, which is interesting because just 7 mana that gives the creature menace and 2+1 counters. Creature. That's also a 5/5 of course, but that's not the most important part here. I think you will most of the time you will swamp cycle this, to be honest. But maybe you find a way in draft, could be. Titled destroying my home at the same time. Titled Terror. When it attacks, you may tap 2 other untapped creatures you control. If you do, it can't be blocked. Okay, so you can get in with a 5 power. This is of course island cycling again, so probably we'll be doing that most of the time instead of paying 6 for a 5/6. Zalfirin Lancer, one of the main cards I think of the set that should tell you a lot about the story. But like I said in my video about Zalfir, it says a lot about Zalfir as well. Because at first they were attacked by these wild beasts, these rhinos as well. And they've made friends with them. I guess after such a long time together, they were forced to become friends. Elspeth's Smite, actually a very important moment in the story, of course, when Alice Norn gets rammed through with an angelic sword. It deals 3 damage, only 3. That doesn't kill an Elish Norn. To target attacking or blocking creature. If it would die this turn, exile it instead. Maybe because Elspeth is not the only one who did damage to Elish Norn. We have the order again, and we will skip that because we saw the other side already. And then we have the Invasion of Argamon, which is, I think, another of these small planes. When it enters, you create a treasure token for just 2 mana, and then you may discard draw. So very strong one, actually. And then to flip it and not show you anything, we get another Rhino. That's sort of a theme as well here. 2 Rhino cards. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard the card again. If you do, this time, search your library for a land or battle card, reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle. So what's this plane's defense? Throughout Argamon's wild Trugat jungle, predator-prey relationships stopped until every last invader was crushed to dust. And then they went on. This is what I don't believe, that the people really went on after all these invasions. But okay. This is weird though, because Yargo is also in the set. But this is just a 9-3, not the 18-6. Consuming even a single drop of the oil would spell doom for the most living things, but Yargo was not most living things, and he ate enough to clean up most of Urborg. But that's interesting, but because later Multani had to save him from becoming a Phyrexian, because his daughter or son told him that Yargo was in danger of turning. And we move on to another invasion. This time of Innistrad, not a small plane, definitely not. This has Flash for 4 mana, and when it enters the battlefield, a creature gets -13/-13, which is also the number that they used for the kill spell from the vampire that the story was about in Crimson Vow. I can't think of it. With the wedding, you remember. But then we have the Luge of the Dead. An enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, you create 2/2 zombie tokens. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So you can use all of your graveyard to make more 2/2s. This is insane on top of such a good removal spell. The airy magic animating zombies render them immune to pheresis. That's true from the story at least. Making them crucial to the plane's defense. I shouldn't be saying that. I mean, that should be logical that everything is true with the story, but it really isn't. Always. Oh, we have Quintorius Lore Master actually. I already have a deck with him. But I guess now I have him in foil. Okay, that's cool. I like it. So yeah, whole video on him already. Might skip him as well. And then we have an incubator token. That will be back in a minute. You won't notice it. We have a Borborygmos and the Fubble to start off with. Their fight is so dynamic. I think the art is the most important part of this card already. Alabaster Host. I keep forgetting that what all the hosts are called. Like, why didn't they just call them their first names? But okay. Furnace Host, Alabaster Host. We had the one from Jin before. But one thing I didn't notice yet. It's a sort of cycle with plane cycling as well. 6 mana, mountain cycling. Furnace Host Charger. It's a giant. Then we have Edged Host. See these themes? I am not crazy. Oh, it's not a cycle though. Edged Host Doombringer, no cycling, no swamp cycling here. Okay. I thought it. 4 mana, Wicked Slumber. Tap creatures. So sleeping or freezing is always tapping and then not untapping. So this time with stun counters, which is the new, I guess, freeze ability. Artistic Refusal. 6 mana, I guess Strixhaven with Prismari. It says Errant wouldn't allow anything to stop her from decorating the streets of New Capenna. Is that really what these people are doing here? This is a sort of riot at least. 6 mana. To counter a spell and or draw 2 cards, then discard 1, but it has Convoke, so it could just be 2 mana. Here we have the Theros guy that has invented these wings. As strange portals roared open across Pharaohs, Leidus gathered his prototype and fled. He was so close to perfecting his design. Of course, we know that perfection is what the Phyrexians do. And indeed, here he is, soaring in Realmbreaker's embrace. He finally understood what perfection was. He has his wings now. What a cute story, actually. Elephants on Belanon. 3 mana. Create a 2/2 white and blue night creature token with vigilance. Can it be an elephant though? Don't know. Oh yeah, I have to pull this away from you. Get cocked. And then it transforms into creatures you control get +1/+1, so an anthem ability actually. Belanon War Anthem. Just as a flute turns breath into music, we are the vessels through which the sacred winds produce glorious justice. How epic and unnecessary. The other side, Dexos, also 2 mana, also the devotion. And then whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain a life. We knew this card already. Taigam, Ojit Time Master, instant sorcery and dragon spells you control can't be countered. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery spell from your hand, if Taigam attacked this turn, this spell gains rebound, so it will be played at the upkeep. Exile the spell as it resolves at the beginning of your next upkeep. Yeah, I remember from Ephemerate, the video movie that we did. Oh, and Vorinclex, that's awesome. 5 mana, Trample Reach. Oh, wow. Whenever it enters the battlefield, search your library for 2 forests. And I love that as well because you will need those forests to transform him because it costs 8 mana, and that is his downside as well. The fact that it is so expensive to transform him. And then you transform him into the Grand Evolution, which is his plan. So this plan is to mill 10 cards to have everything die and only get the 2 strongest creatures from your graveyard back onto the battlefield. Then you distribute 7/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control, so you grow them really big. Then until end of turn, for 1 mana, any creature can fight any other creature that you don't control. Of course, an important part. That you can't fight your own, which would be flavorful, I guess. I would say just fight a creature. Don't know if that breaks anything. I don't think so. But awesome. What pools. I feel like even though the full art lands are a bit less, the mythic rate we got is way better. And we end off with the foil of Lithomancer. Mantic Barrage. Can't be countered, 1 mana. Deal 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker. It deals 5 damage instead if the target is white and or blue. So definitely against control, this card. And a non-token? Oh, well, it is a token. Reaction Might. 2/1. Mirror. Ah. Oh, wow, cool. Reaction Mirror. I also think that is very exciting. Weirdly enough. An invasion from Ixalan, I think. We have Amonkhet Land. Mirrodin Avenged. 1 mana, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Then you draw a card. You were my mistake. I will forever bear the weight of your horrors and of your end. He really didn't want to kill anyone, did he? But he did already. But okay. It was his child. Atraxa's Fall, which is literally a fall. She just fell from a building and then a pole impaled her. And then she was dead. That's it. Vanquish the Weak. The theme here is Atraxa, it seems. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less, so the weak. When Atraxa first arrived, the people of New Capenna rejoiced at the sight of such a grand angel. Then the slaughter began. I love that they thought that this was a good sign. Change the equation. 2 mana, counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. And this is a teacher that is sort of now teaching the other people from Strixhaven. And we have the moment where all the fractions died at once, or at least were inert and sort of dead, but they can be revived or something. Kami of Whispered Hopes. Kamis are so scary. If one or more +1 counts would be put on a permanent, that many +1/+1. This one will be very good to put in many decks, I feel like. And then add X mana of any one color where X is its power. So you grow it way faster, and then you get a lot of mana from it. I think this will go into Azuri. Actually, we like those random cards. I had a whole video on this one because I thought it was funny that the Sun Empire now has shadow powers, because when you transform this, shadow actually turns into a golden idol version of themselves. When it attacks, create a tapped and attacking copy of this. Put a +1 counter on the token for each +1 counter on Furnace. Oh. So does the copy not already get the power, or is it then stronger, or how does this work? I'm not sure. Does this also get +1 counters at the beginning? No, you just have to put it on there yourself. Actually, I haven't looked at that. But Kamigawa, Ninjas versus Samurai, actually here, which they said they weren't going to do. When it enters the battlefield, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Okay, so sleep something, basically. Transform it into Rooftop Saboteurs. Whenever this deals combat damage to a player or battle, draw a card. So it is actually a good ninja that can get in easily with the flying and then gives you an effect whenever it deals damage. We have Riyav again with the cool flavor text. Oh. And Glissa, which is one of my favorite commanders from the set. It actually is a great commander, I feel like, for incubation, because it adds something new. The fact that the incubator tokens can attack with haste with her. And their stance really reflects that for me. Then we have Sword Sworn Cavalier, 2 mana, 3/1, that has first strike when a knight entered the battlefield this turn. Okay, so we have a knight deck. The Royal Knights of Balanon again, are equally practiced in courtesy and combat. I'd love to know more about this play. Then from the list, actually, no token again. High Ground, 1 mana, each creature you control can block an additional creature. It's an enchantment. That's really unique, I feel like. Don't really see the ability to block multiple creatures a lot. But definitely not on an enchantment, so maybe this goes in someone's deck that they've never seen this card before. But moving on. We have Thalia, alternate art. Here. Very ready to battle. Then a full art swamp, so they are there, they are just not in every pack. The other one didn't have that either, but it had this sort of alternate version. Oh, it did have full arts in everyone, but there was an alternate version that you could get or something. So there were 2 full arts. So Eyes of Cataxias, like I said, I talk way too much about these eyes, so I'm not going to do that today. Assimilate Essence, 2 mana, counter target creature or battle spell, unless its controller pays 4. So very specific, probably won't see too much play in that way. Blighted Burgeoning, 3 mana enchant land. When it enters the battlefield, incubate 2. So it's a Phyrexian burgeoning, but apparently Vorinclex still wants to expand the forest lands, which I think is beautiful. Sunder the Gateway, 2 mana, choose 1 to destroy target non-token artifact from an opponent and incubate 2, or incubate 2 and then transform an incubator token you control, which also costs 2 mana, so this is mana efficient in that way. Storm the Seed Core, so it's a 2 mana 2/2 basically if you want. Storm the Seed Core, 4 mana for sorcery with this beautiful art. This is very good. I know that the artist also explained that he made an arrow point out of this, and you can see that here. I think very Very beautifully as well. On the card itself, distribute 4+1 counters among up to 4 target creatures you control. They gain vigilance and trample. So a very safe way, which I think this art really shows. Safe way of attacking, but it's still very, let's say, active because of the trample. And then, in that moment, the fate of countless worlds rested with one dryad and a handful of bravest Mirrodin had to offer. Interesting. I forgot to say that this is the Parhelion in this art. I just saw that. Beautiful art here from Jason Rainville. Story of Spotlight indeed. Rampaging Geoderm. Dinosaur beast from Ikoria with crystals on his back now actually. The actual crystal, or the main crystal, has been destroyed, but I think these creatures have taken it upon themselves to be the crystal. 4 mana 3/3 with trample and haste. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If it's attacking a battle, put a +1 counter on it instead. So I guess good with the battle deck where you can sort of make the strengthening of your creatures forever. The Phyrexian Juggernaut found itself crushed between a rock and a hard place. Is the creature the rock or the hard place? We don't know. Peratic, funny, word joke. Prankster, 2 mana, 2/1, and for 3 and a black you can transform it. It's played the same prank 100 times, never noticing the flames slowly evolving pattern. Okay, the same prank over 100 times. That's a lot. But Glistening Goremonger, beautiful word. When it dies, each opponent sacrifices an artifact or creature. When it realized the symbol's true glorious meaning, it began marking every surface on Innistrad with oil-soaked claws. Interesting, so he did it 100 times more. That would have been a better flavored text, I feel. We have to turn this again. Invasion of Dominaria. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life and draw a card. 3 mana. 3 mana to draw a card. Nah. But you can beat it. 5 of these points. Then you get Seraph Faithkeeper. We had to say something about Seraphiel, so let's read this with attention. 4 mana flying vigilance. A 4/4 flying vigilance. I was there when Phyrexia doomed Serra's realm with a single touch. I was there when Yawgmoth tried and failed to conquer Dominaria, and I still will be here when Elish Norn lies dead. Yeah, you will be there forever, that's the whole point. We have Horobi again, the horrific Kami. Then Glistening Dawn, 4 mana, incubate X twice, where X is the number of lands you control. Goes into Glissa, definitely. Wow. So 2 big creatures that can attack very soon. Unleashed on the New Worlds, the Phyrexians were driven by a simple imperative. Spread and conquer. Not divide, but spread. Okay, that's the whole joke really. And then Garuda. Actually not a new version, but I think the border maybe is. Or like the colors here. A Demon Kraken. Companion, your starting deck must be even. Oh yeah, so it's the opposite of the Rakdos one, which has 1 very vivid fan. It enters the battlefield, each player mills 4 cards and put a creature card with an even mana value from among the milled cards onto the battlefield. I think that's pretty fun, but that's a big restriction as well. And it will the zombie token from the card that we saw before, the -13/13. And that was it for today. I want to thank you for watching. And let me know what your favorite card from this set is. And maybe after a bit, it will be 4 clicks. Have a nice day.